Batman Cape Crusader has officially released, and let me tell you, the reviews from actual Batman fans, not looking good. The justifications from the shill media at individuals, like IGN or the Mary Sue outlets like that, well, they are bending over backwards to tell you how amazing that the all-inclusive 1940s Batman story is. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and yes, Batman Cape Crusader tests how far you can bend a character before they break. I clicked on this article and read through it because I thought, whoa. Is even IGN going to say, look, nice try, but this ain't it, chief, back to the drawing board? Were they maybe going to actually side with the legitimate fans who have been showing some signs of worry from the jump when the trailer initially dropped? But that would require IGN to have a sense of self-awareness, and no, when they say, before they break, they really mean how far they can bend backwards before their back breaks to run defense for this god-awful show. So we're going to get into this. Before we do, hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day, and we're not going to go over this whole article because, let me show you guys. Yeah, it goes on and on and on and on. Like you could tell that I don't know if a woman wrote this, but I'm gonna assume a woman wrote this because this is how women speak. So yeah, we're gonna just cover the Cliff Notes version of it. How much can you change a character before they're no longer the same character fans know and love? You know what? That's an excellent question. That's one that we actual nerds have been asking for a long time when it comes to all these inaccurate representations of our favorite heroes, whether it be in film adaptations, video game adaptations, books to movies, whatever it want to be. There are always going to be questions, comments, concerns, and of course some sarcastic remarks when it comes to certain adaptations and why certain individuals were chosen to play these adaptations of the characters. But at the end of the day, that's part of being a nerd. That's part of what we love. Yeah, unless it comes to something like this, when it's blatantly obvious why it was done, no matter how much you try and justify it. It's a frequent argument with superhero movies and TV shows, particularly given the multiple reinventions beloved, and not so beloved, heroes and villains have gone through in their translation from the comic book page to screen. And nowhere is that tested more in multiple iterations than Prime Video's new Batman Cape Crusader, which keeps some characters constant, while others change gender, race, or other characteristics until they're no longer recognizable. See, when it's written like that, you think that they got a semblance of common sense. But again, aside from one particular character, which we'll get to, they spend the whole article running defense for every other character, for everyone else, and try to make the argument that, yes, even though they look different, they are recognizable, which completely goes against what you were saying in the beginning. So, yeah, there's that. A word of caution here, though, before we do delve into the changes made by the team behind the latest Batman animated series, one of the reasons behind fan arguments about characters is that everyone has their individual view of how a character must be. Some of that comes from how they were first introduced to the character through a particularly impactful run in the comics or viewing on the screen. Some of it comes from groupthink on the internet as one gravitates towards a welcoming and like-minded fan base on the internet. At least you're acknowledging the groupthink. It's weird that you haven't said anything about us Gamergate chuds yet. Hold your horses, guys. It's coming. I know. Usually we get that in the first paragraph, but this one waited about 3. Those are more positive and potentially fruitful, though sometimes not, ways someone arrives at what they believe is the definitive adaptation of the character. Yeah, for example, some people believe that the definitive adaptation of the Joker is Heath Ledger's adaptation and Heath Ledger's characterization. And I'm here to say, look, I love you guys. You're my viewers. You mean the world to me. I would never want to see you go. But if you think that Heath Ledger's Joker is the best Joker, but you're a fucking moron. But there are other, far more toxic, there it is, more toxic views, now they're speaking our language, boys and girls, that influence these takes. Sexism, homophobia, racism, and all that is present, and the horrifying pops its head up with the regularity whenever a show or movie dares not be 100% representative exactly what a character looks like in its static 2D comic. Oh no. We fans, we paying customers, those that the project is hypothetically made for, how dare we not just accept slop and have to and get upset when certain iconic characters that have defined sometimes multiple generations are not treated with the care and reverence that they most assuredly deserve. That's right, we're the bad guys. Hi, my name's Leon Idle. What's up, IGN? I appreciate you, you fucking douchebags. this gets back to the core argument we're aiming to examine here. What does actually change a character? What can you change that illuminates them in a different way, but still retains the intrinsic parts of who they are? And when does a character change so much that they are, in essence, an entirely different character? To explore this further, let's take a look at a few of the characters who went through more subtle and not so subtle changes in Batman Caped Crusader. Now, I'm pretty sure I said this on a live stream, but if not, I at least told my homie Angry Badger privately. I was waiting for him to give me the go-ahead on watching this because, as you know, I don't fucking like Batman. I love the Batman mythos, I love the Batman world, but Batman himself, you know, kind of fucking lame. I'm a Superman guy. What can I say? Superman, bro, he a king of the mountain when it comes to DC. Batman's a homie in some scary pajamas. Let's be real. That's what it boils down to for me. If you guys like Batman, fair enough. I guarantee you ain't gonna like this adaptation of Batman. I bet Badger's not gonna like it because I said, man, if you tell me it's good, I'll watch it. Oh, I am just waiting for the angry message at 2 a.m. from Badger to tell me what absolute dog shit this show is, just based on what I've gotten from this article. So let's start with good old Barbara Gordon here. Crystal Joy Brown plays the voice of Barbara Gordon on Caped Crusader, and you may notice that despite the character's classic red hair, there are two big changes in the series. First, she's a public defender, and second, she's black. The latter has already sent folks into a needless tizzy, but we'll just ignore them. Here's the dealio. You say it sent people into a needless tizzy, but you guys know the corners of the internet that I hang out on, these seedy, alt-right, Trump-supporting Nazi corners, according to people like IGN. I really haven't seen people give too much of a good goddamn that she's black, mainly because nobody gives a good goddamn about this show, because it looked like it was doomed from the start. Only the most optimistic of Bat fanatics, again, like Angry Badger, were actually willing to give this a chance. And again, everything I've seen about the discourse since it's released been pretty vitriolic, I ain't gonna lie. Regardless, the color of her skin has less of a change than the fact that, less of a change, homie, you go from black to white. Those are like literal opposites of one another. So I would say it's a pretty massive change, just visually. The fact that she's a lawyer, a job Barbara Gordon hasn't previously held in the comics or on screen. She's worked as a professor, helped out in the police department. By the way, Barbara Gordon is she's a black lawyer in the show. Now, you know what? If the show took place in the 2020s, 2010s, even the 1990s, I'll be real. I don't give a shit. Guys, this Batman show takes place in the 1940s. How many black female public defenders do you think they were in the 1940s? Because last I checked, in the 1950s, homies were still getting sprayed down fire hoses because they wanted equal rights. I doubt that Gotham, a ridiculously crime-ridden city that needs a dude with a head injury and a bat costume to be its most famed protector, I don't feel like they'd be down with a black female public defender in the 40s. Also, this article says the show takes place, they think, in the 30s, meaning they don't even know enough about the IP or the property to have cared to find out when the show does in fact take place, which, again, props for journalistic integrity, IGN. You guys do your research. She's been the eye in the sky character Oracle. She's been Batgirl. Point is, they're making an argument for why she's the same. It doesn't matter that she's a black female public defender in the 40s. She's still the same character she's always been. That's objectively false, but whatever, they make the argument for her. Alright, now we got Alfred. They're going to move on to Alfred Pennyworth. Jason Watkins voices Bruce Wayne's butler Alfred, and there are a few changes to how we traditionally know the character. First, his origin is as a beat policeman who takes in an extremely creepy young Bruce after Thomas and Martha Wayne are killed, rather than already working as the Wayne family's butler. As for how we went from police officer to butler, who can say, but hey, you flesh out that resume, Alfred. Again, that seems like an unnecessary, useless, stupid change that does... I can see no benefit to that of Alfred's character. Alfred is the ride-or-die father figure for Bruce, who is equal parts loving, not afraid to put him in his place, but he can be there on the back end, he can kick ass. He did used to be part of the British Secret Service, if I recall. Again, could be rusting my Batman lore, Superman guy, sue me. Point is, I'm pretty sure Alfred used to be part of the British Secret Service. Being a beat cop is a notable step down, not talking trash on cops for, very obvious reasons, but put a beat cop next to somebody who was in the special forces. All I'm saying is it's a pretty easy bet to make if you're a betting boy. The other changes are that Alfred speaks with a significantly more lower-class British accent than fans may be used to, and is also more rotund than the slender-cut character carries in the comics. Slender-cut the character carries in the comics. I don't know if you meant to do that alliteration, IGN, because that was actually pretty well done, but I don't want to give you credit because I don't think you're that talented of a writer enough to pull it off. I think that was purely coincidence, and you know what they say about monkeys and typewriters. Also, Fat Alfred, again, this is the 40s. obesity wasn't exactly the problem in America that it is now in the 1940s. And again, if he is supposed to be able to beat major ass when necessary, I don't want Fat Alfred for that. But again, they try and justify how he's the same. They do the same thing with the Penguin here. They try and talk about how, oh, female Penguin is a great rendition because she's got like a Ma Barker thing going on now, which, admittedly, that is a cool concept. You could have created a whole new character for that. You don't need to take an iconic character that has a very set definition of what that character is, who that character is, what his motivations are, what his thoughts, beliefs, ideologies, rules, structures, internal monologues, the whole nine. You don't need to take all that and just say, let's keep it the exact same, but make it an old lady and give it a vagina. Like, that's what they did. Other than that, the way they describe Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin, is actually almost the exact same as his comic counterpart. So why make it a chick aside from representation matters? Like, it really is. But the one character they say doesn't work, which was hilarious to me, is fucking Harley Quinn. IGN is out here throwing a fit about Asian lesbian Harley Quinn. I never thought I would see the day where that would happen, but their reasoning is not because, oh, by the way, they go on to talk about how amazing the animated show starring Kaylee Cuoco was. That absolute dog water of a show that was actually kind of decent in the first season, then fell off so hard because they wanted to make it the Family Guy of the Batman universe. Yeah, complete cringe all the way through. But yeah, no, Asian lesbian Harley Quinn doesn't work because she's not funny. Yeah, that's their justification. Again, this is a really long article. We've already been going for like 11 minutes, so I'm not going to read it. But here, let me see if I can just get to... The issue here is, with all due respect to Tim, this is a different character. Chung gives the smallest touch of Harley's iconic chirpy voice to Harleen, but only when she's flirting with Renee. When she's in the Harlequin costume, by the way, not only was she Asian and lesbian, but Asian lesbian, might I remind you, in the 1940s, apparently there's like a scene in the show where they openly kiss in a diner. I don't know how much you know about fucking 1940s America, but if two chicks were openly kissing in a diner, I'm pretty sure they would have like been drawn and quartered in like Times Square or something, or the Gotham City equivalent to Times Square. She's a disturbing, serious villain who tortures rich men, former patients of hers, to break them and bring out their true personalities. If a man acts like a baby, she turns him into a big baby. If he acts like an animal, through her glass prisons and repeated torture, she makes him into that. The issue isn't the lack of Joker, change of race, nor the flip of the character, as Tim puts it, to make Harleen the funny one and Harley the serious one. And in fact, this was an entirely original Batman villain, a psychiatrist who treats rich men like Bruce Wayne, and fed up breaks them down to who they really are. That would fit right in with the rest of the Dark Knight Rogues gallery. The issue is that isn't Harley. While she was introduced in Batman the Animated Series as Joker's mole and sidekick, the character eventually rapidly grew into her own thing. Like, we get that. Point is, all that aside, to get back to what we've been discussing with the other characters in the series, it's not the trappings that change Harley, it's where it matters most. She's not Harley. I can say that for literally every character you've tried to make an argument for, but alright, indulge. I will indulge you. Entertain me, IGN. She doesn't have the humor, but more importantly, she's missing the heart. We get a hint of that through her friendship with Barbara Gordon, but the connection is introduced tangentially and then pushed for the emotional resonance right before Harley's seeming demise at the end of episode 5. She survives, don't worry. I guess I should have given you guys a spoiler warning, but I guarantee you've either already watched the show or don't give a flying fuck about it. Point is, yeah, she's not funny, and she's too dark, she's too gritty, she's too grim. That is the problem that IGN has with this version of Harley Quinn. She's too mean. She doesn't have heart. She's a fucking villain. Like if there's the one thing that I would give credit to this show for, it's that, okay, the bad guy is acting like a bad guy. Good. You did the bare fucking minimum. Like, this article is absolutely insane. And while I've not seen anything beyond the initial trailer for this show, and I'm not going to watch it. This is not good enough to hate watch. This isn't good enough to watch and make fun of. Am I going to have some interesting conversations with my buddies who have watched it and just hear them bitch and moan about how terrible it is? Yeah, I'm sure that'll happen, and I will embrace those conversations with joy because, frankly, ragging on nerd culture is one of the most fun things about being a nerd and has been ever since the 90s when I've been a part of it. But the fact of the matter is, I almost believe this could have been a good article because IGN, they did initially write it. If I hadn't told you it was a shit article from the beginning and you read those first 2 paragraphs, you'd have actually thought, wow, Is IGN about to make some semblance of a legitimate, nuanced point about characterization and where it falls in nerd culture and how we need to sort of, get back to basics when it comes to adaptations and trusting the root of the character that made the soul inside these characters that made them iconic? Nah, change whatever you want. Change whatever you want. It's A-okay, just as long as you can find a reason to love them. But don't make the bad guys bad guys. That's their justification. This is just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. Not always about, animated shows or comic books, but anime, movies, video games, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos I react to on my Friday night live streams, and of course, get involved with over 80 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further because we do care about diversity, but only one kind of diversity of thought. So if that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.